short, and also have the opportunity to actually be able to help out for mid as well if you see any of those, classic B splits from NIP. So I think it's just a safer choice in that sense, instead of having Smith actively trying to find frags with his help in mid.
They're not wasting any time, however. It is going to be a bit of a long push coming in here. There it is, the double push into Upper Dark, and they're going to walk right into the crossfire. They're waiting for him. Exist still picks up one, though. Smith takes out Alu. But that was a kill over on Long. They are going to be able to get control of Upper Dark now, NIP. And Kyoshima, he still makes it out of there intact. So that's a big save there. The fact that he stays alive with 1 HP, so close.
Yeah, and you can tell that NIP had a very clear idea of what EnVy was doing. It's the exact same pistol round that EnVy did versus Property in their first game. Happy does pick up Exist, but the Bob set is NIP's to take right now, and well, as long as Happy doesn't catch anyone off, this could be a very good round for NIP, and as I say that, it's only MBK left with his EZ, and like at this point, he doesn't have enough bullets to kill them all.
He doesn't do it, and Forrest, he's going to have a fantastic round here. 2 kills to just secure that A site. But just to clarify, this is actually NIP's map pick. This is their map.
Yeah.
Inferno was EnVy's. So far, EnVy, they trounced them on Inferno. That was their map, great. But already, NIP off to a pretty fantastic start here in this first round. Or the first half of overtime, rather. Are we going to get the tag back? I mean, Smith is just attempting to put shots through into secret, or rather secret suicide, but he's not quite finding the angle. Instead, it's Forrest with that MAC-10. Happy is going to take him out. Freiberg will find Happy. However, it's just back and forth. Total brawl here happening on the A site, but Freiberg is going to get sharp about it. He's going to start landing those headshots. He gets tagged there, down to 9 HP. Instead, it's Alu who's going to get caught here by Kyoshima. Kyoshima now with the scout if he wants to use it, but get right, this lurk will work. And he'll be able to pick up that kill.
And yeah, finally we've seen NIP actually hold up for an Ataika round, which is really good for them. EnVyUs didn't really get that much going at all. I would say that Dust 2 is probably one of the easier maps to actually do this on, because the freedom that you have as a T, as long as you don't blindly run into stacks. And right now we see NIP trying to get quick control along, and they seem to want to keep a high pace really in these Santa Ecos so far.
Exactly. Pistol round, second round, now the third round. They aren't wasting much time. Well, that's still not going to stop Smith from picking off Alu as he gets across. Happy is going to find Freiberg now. Lots of damage being dealt here, and Get Right will hunt down Shoxy. He has the bomb as well, so he should be able to get the bomb plant eventually. But NBK's now got an AK to use, so this is going to be a little bit of additional firepower here on the EnVy side. And there you go, that's exactly what it's good for. NBK takes out Forrest, who is holding on to Long, and now it gets awkward. It gets really dangerous. Exist is now the last man alive here for NIP. He gets the headshot, but that's not good enough. 1v4, and EnVy will manage to win it. Then we just cursed them. They're just like, oh man, NIP are doing so good holding in these anti-eco rounds, and then they lose to PT50s.
Yeah, I mean, the disappointing thing is that how it all started with Smith picking up that first frag was 2 poor smokes. Basically had 2 smokes covering the same area. It was still a gap for Smith to actually watch through, and that that just kind of snowballed everything for EnVyUs. Yeah, again, they did kind of. Yeah, I mean that's a round NIP should win, and it's down to their own mistakes. But then again, give credit where credit is due. It's still a great job from EnVyUs, because they did not decide to do the typical force-up thing again.
Yeah, they gave a little ground. I was actually surprised to see them go for 3 PT50s. This is an extra $300 investment, per player that they have to put into that when they're already fairly low. So EnVy taking a little bit of a risk, and that time it paid off magnificently. They even saved the guns as well. 3 AKs now on their side. That's a lot of money that they're going to be able to hold on to for future rounds, not having to spend $3,100 on an Occult, right? So this is going to be just NIP going for a very quick push up the B slope, straight out onto the site, but they get bogged down. There's enough time for Kyoshima to throw up a smoke, and that's going to funnel them in through the window. Smith just back and forth fragging, but it's still a 3-on-3 here, and this has bought a lot of time for EnVy to rotate that extra man in. Happy is right on top of that window already. Get Right with the perfect angle, however, in Upper Dark. Predictable angle. Shoxy saw it coming. And NBK now knows, okay, there's somebody up here, which he should expect, but that's a big kill from Get Right to slow things down. It's hard enough retaking on B when you're even. If you're behind, it becomes nigh impossible.
That's a great job from NIP to actually get back on, back on the horse there, and you know, even though, you know, that was obviously a force buy for them. But this is something they've done several times, actually. They've made it sure that their investments, even when they win, you know, pistol, you know, in the second and third round, aren't going to be that big to the point where, like, for instance, Alu is always going to be able to buy an AWP regardless. And we saw that during Poland as well. And there goes Spryvik, you know, not the most likely sniper for NIP, but yeah, picks up the first frag just to spawn.
And he even tags NBK through that as well.
Yeah.
Alu's going to be able to catch NBK jumping there with the scout. No lucky plays there for NBK this time around. Shoxy instead now. It's going to be the one holding close, but he gets spotted out by GetRight. GetRight through the smoke just manages to pick him off, and that's a 2-man lead now for NIP. EnVyUs should just be backing off. Kyoshimo's going to go rushing up Cat, though, seeing if he can't get anything done here. Catch somebody out of position. That does not seem likely. Seems like everybody on NIP are content to just sit back as far as they can and hold very passively here. If Envy want to take a fight, they're going to have to step into the crosshairs and just go brute force, and that's not going to fly. Although Happy right now, his position, this could pay off. Exist is going to crouch his way around the corner, and they both basically drop each other down to sub 10 HP. Whoa, way too close.
Way too close, actually, yeah. Obviously for Exist, it's not that big of a loss if he goes down. You know, it's a bigger victory for NIP if Happy dies.
But there we have it. 4 rounds on the board now for NIP on their T side. And they actually managed to keep a reasonable number of rifles alive as well, so they're starting to develop that bank.
Yeah, and the big thing now is that we're actually going to see the double AWP setup that we talked about come out, and this is where, you know, it gets really rough for Envy if NIP get going. I mean, one of the worrying things though, like both times we've seen NIP play towards the long area, their crossover smokes have been shoddy. There has been gaps in them, and if you know, you have to lurk, you know, remove those kind of mistakes if you actually want to make sure you're going to win.
Absolutely. I mean, right now it is going to be just, again, the push up Cat this time, really trying to change up that angle. Happy, wild spray, just drops Freiberg down to 7, and then he gets a bullet to the face. That is Smith taken out. Happy at next. Shoxy with a great backstab here with the CZ75. It's going to take ages for him to reload, but he somehow gets it. And gets the kill onto Forrest as well. Does not hit that shot, but Kyoshima is there to save it. And we're into a 2-on-2, and the bomb has only just now been planted. There's time for Envy to act. A site is totally different from B site, way more open. But Exist tracking him through that box. He knows exactly where Kyoshima is. Caught in Gandalf now, and Kyoshima kind of hesitating, trying to look for this headshot, if he's going to get it or not, but he does in the end. Exist just stands right up into it, and Shoxy takes out GetRight on long in the meantime.
Yeah, a solid retake from Envy, but NIP unnecessarily peeking. I mean, there was no reason for GetRight to actually push up so far out that he could get caught. He could basically just hang around, you know, hang around in spawn, and basically come out whenever Exist says that he needs help. Because all they have to do is play for time at that, you know, at that particular time.
Was the bomb planted for Cat?
It was not, as far as I can recall.
No.
On site.
It was planted on site, yeah, okay. Oh, nice tag onto Kyoshima to start, though. Alu hasn't had the most luck with the AWP to start so far, but that is a good, shot right there. That will do some damage. You guys can see he's down to 19, and that could influence NIP now with the decision making. They know perhaps that one guy has been tagged on the B site, so it's going to take a little bit less, you know, to get onto that site if they get into that straight up fight. So maybe we shall see NIP go for another B split push, because it seems like right now they're getting control of mid, and they have the gear necessary to do it.
Yeah. If they opt to do a B split push, you're most likely going to see, you know, a group of people actually moving into mid before they actually decide to do the execute. Basically, just to save time and not give EnVyUs, you know, any more room than necessary to actually do the proper rotations. But as it looks right now, it seems like Ali is going to be the point guy to get an entry flick towards the B bomb side.
They're going for it. They're going for it. Look at the boost. This is very sneaky stuff. This is very sneaky stuff. They know that Shoxy likes to hold on a slope. That's what they're looking for right now. Are they going to be able to actually find anybody, though? That's the big question. They're just trying to find an angle, something to work with. The smoke is going to be clearing, and there is no longer an opportunity, apart from just taking the straight-up brute force method. But it does look like NIP, they are going to wind up on this A site. 20 seconds left. That's not enough time. They have to hit this shot and run. But Envy, both of them going to miss, in fact. Exist will take out Happy in the meantime, who is lurking in CT. Exist just going to relentlessly hunt Shoxy down. Good spray there at long. And with 10 seconds left, that bomb gets planted just in the nick of time.
No, it's just as, and, you know, finally GetRight's lurk, once again, successful at long, and Yeah, just become a really easy take of the bomb site for NIP. As soon as Shox misses that first shot from the cars, it becomes an extremely tough thing to deal with for EnVyUs. They pretty much need to get 1 or 2 kills there to actually hold NIP off the site. And I'm actually surprised because you see a ton of Opus actually position themselves in that, around that area where Shox did, and you see so many of them actually miss shot after shot after shot until they get pushed all the way back at long. And obviously, if you're playing NIP, you just know that Get Right's going to show up there, at some point. So then, you're obviously trapped as well. It's not a great position to be in.
No, it is a bit rough. That's why I was really curious to see if he was going to be pushing onto A slope at all. Or if he's usually holding on a slope, right? It gives you a little bit more control, I suppose, a bit more of a straight line taking that shot with the AWP. That is some very tricky stuff. Something else that's tricky is, getting shot in the face by Exist. Shox is out, Get Right, great spray, long range onto Happy, catches him out before he can get onto Catwalk. And now NBK holding on CT, turns away for the flash, and still manages to turn around and take out Get Right. So that's a good kill there. But it is, in the end, not ideal for Envy. It does seem like, once again, they're going to be looking to save these guns. They don't want to take this fight if they can avoid it. They should have the money to buy up again in the next round. So they may lurk a little bit just to see if they can't get an exit, but ideally the plan is hold on to the guns, be able to drop them for the teammates in the next round here.
Yeah, and you can see that NIP are slowly moving their way towards, T-spawn and whatnot. They probably have the opportunity to actually hunt after Envy, but if they realize the fact that, well, Envy is going to probably be able to buy up regardless of what we do in the following round, that they'll just come to the conclusion of it not being worth it.
Curious to see what they have in store for us next, because it really does seem pretty standard. Apart from the smoke boost, NIP, a lot of it does seem like we're just going to go over here, take a peek, get a kill, somebody dies, great, go for it, right? And speed up behind that. The fast pace at the beginning, but then also here now getting into the mid of the half, starting to go off those entries. And NIP, once they get the entries, they're so tough to stop.
Yeah, and one of the things that we remember from, if you caught the TSM versus NIP game on Dust 2, was the fact that TSM gave way too much space for NIP to work around. So they basically just give Catwalk and let Niv do whatever they wanted from Catwalk. And it's a very similar thing that's actually going on right now. NIP have been able to set up so many of their executes towards the bomb site on Catwalk without too much of resistance really coming out from Envy, and I don't think you can allow that from your side if you want to beat NIP, because they're really effective once they get up into that close of a position.
That's a very good point. It's a very good point to make, in fact. It does seem like Envy are a little rattled here.
And it's surprising because, they looked so dominant on Inferno, and it definitely looked like it was NIP who were the rattled ones. So they're going to come back into it. Obviously, this is, it's really a great feeling to have that good start on the T side and just get the ball rolling. And now they're going to pick up the 7th round already. And I'm not really sure if they're actually going to allow Happy to save this even, because NIP have a ton of money at this point, so they can just freely throw away their weapons.
Yeah, they should be running after him, actually. And it does look like now, okay, that's the decision. They check on the bomb again just to make sure that there isn't any kind of shenanigans happening. And now, Happy, they're going to be trying to hunt him down. Bomb is just about to go up, and there's a man waiting around the corner. They're just slowly closing in. Are they going to be able to actually find him, though? Solid angle here by Happy. And, oh man, just barely saved by the clock. So now the question, there is no question, really. They don't have enough to force. They don't actually have enough. Shoxy's the only one with a little bit of bank, and the way that he spends it is just CZ and Kevlar, and then cross your fingers and hope you can get close range on somebody.
Yeah, not the worst idea in the world ever, So, but yeah, you can see NIP. Seems like NIP are really liking the high pace when they know they're up against an eco here, and Forrest already picking up 1 frag here. It's going to get replied on by Happy, but, at this point they already knew that was 3 people committed to the B bomb site from Envy, so we can freely move up on long.
Freiburg, in the meantime, takes out NBK, who was lurking on Cat. Potential backstab opportunity here for Happy, and Happy puts that M4 to use, the one that he's been holding on to forever. Gets caught in the end by Get Right on Cat. And the last member here is Kyoshima, who did manage to pick up the AK. I believe that was dropped by Forrest earlier. So he will have a gun to work with. If he wants, he can hold on to it, but I think he really is waiting to see, can he pick somebody up, and he's not going to get it done. Get Right crouches right around the corner. Ooh, Get Right shooting at the body as well. I thought that Get Right was pissed when people did that to him. Is he Is he thinking like, oh yeah, it's all right if I do it? That's fine.
Maybe it's like just some sort of revenge from a previous game. Who knows?
Well, Happy loves to do that, right?
Yeah. Well, Smith, you should have seen Smith's actually on Cash versus
Smith loves to
Property.
do that as well. And Garrett's like, you guys still do that? Well.
In any case, buy up brand for EnVyUs. I mean, they're in a similar situation as to what we saw NIP found themselves in on Inferno. This is kind of a must-win round if they want to have a shot at having an okay half.
This is now it, and there you go, Shoxy. He lets them get up onto that side practically. We will have Exist manage to sneak his way forward, and it looks like it's going to be a cap plant here. Get right, pushing forward in CT. Shoxy adjusts his aim just in time to pick up that kill. Very close call there. And maintaining the man advantage here is so important for Envy. They need to get up onto this site. They need to get the defuse. And there you go. Shoxy spots him out, but he does not connect. And in the meantime, you still have Alu alive, although, as I said, he gets picked off by Kyoshima. Forrest now long range is going to be able to take out Kyoshima, but the pressure is mounting, and Exist is going to get caught out on that site. 3 members alive for Envy at the end of that retake, and that was just very clean. Starting with 4, winding up with 3, that's everything going your way right there.
Yeah, and through all of that time, Shox actually managed to stay alive. This time around, actually picks up the entry frag onto Freiburg, you know, instead of missing 2 or 3 shots and having to fall back. So he's actually able to maintain position and put more pressure. Even though he's not, you know, necessarily getting more kills, he's actually just keeping NIP focused on that potential threat at long.
Then he gets the follow-up as well on Get Right.
Yeah,
That's the
big
thing.
Exactly.
I thought for a second that he would still be scoped up on site and just, you know, completely miss that, and Get Right would get a freebie. Shoxy, that was a solid round. That's what we need to see from him. As far as NIP are concerned, though, they're perfectly happy. I mean, they can still take control of everything. They've got 8 rounds on their T side. That is fantastic as far as the current meta is concerned.
Yeah, they're doing a fine job right now. And again, you know, Envy giving up control towards short, and I wouldn't be too surprised if the guys along are actually going to commit to this.
Oh, and there it is, the double spray, or at least the single. Alu is still alive here.
Well, the bomb
got control of bomb, exactly. That's the big deal. Forrest is trying to click away, and he's not going to be able to find that headshot in pit. Instead, they're going to look for the rotator, and they do manage to catch Kyoshima out in CT, so that's a good kill there. Brings it back to a 4-on-3 at least. Now a 3-on-3 as Alu catches Happy, who was trying to push him through long. So now, 40 seconds left, and NIP still need to get their hands on this bomb somehow. A fresh smoke going down is certainly not going to help things either.
Yeah, when that smoke goes out, there's going to be about 17 seconds left. And obviously you don't have too many places to go at that point, so it's going to have to be towards A. And Smith's picking up Forrest there. This is going to be really tough, actually.
He gets the second one, he clears up Freiburg, and now, yeah, that's it. Alu decides to just back off and hold on to his gun. An impossible situation. He's still willing to try and take this fight, actually, and he will win it. Takes out Smith with a wall bang, so nice shot there by Alu. But now they know where he is, and they're trying to close in on him. I don't know if Envy should be running too hard after this, though, because this is already a pretty costly round for them. They aren't sitting on big money at all. Whereas, like, if Alu loses his AWP, it's like, okay, well, you know, like, Get Right's got 10,000, Exist has got 11,000. You know, it's not a problem if he loses it. Whereas 3750 and only 6K on Shox, you kind of want to hold on to the guns on Envy's side right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you kind of have to. And, again, yeah, Envy giving up so much room as Alu actually gaps Smiths. I mean, Envy are giving up so much room on catwalks. You would assume that NIP consistently goes back to that to see what they're able to do with it, as Shox picks up a Get Right as well. And I would have imagined in the previous round that they actually would have put on the pressure from catwalk before they actually committed to the long push, especially if you have the bomb that long. So a bit of a different take on it, I guess, coming out from NIP.
Take here as well. They kind of snuck their way out onto the B side. It looks like Kyoshima got caught out by Get Right, as we saw. So now, or not by Get Right, rather by Forrest. Instead, it's going to be Shoxy trying to push through smoke. NBK, and that looked very odd indeed. NBK looked like he was getting name punched all over the place. Happy now with his AWP, tags him through the box. Does he go for the HE? Touchdown nade? Too far. Not going to happen, and the bullet misses as well. So NIP get up onto 9 rounds here, and that is just solid work for the Swedes. They are just getting farther and further ahead on this map.
Yeah, right now, I mean, you're going to be, you know, over the moon with the way you've played in this T half. And I guess, yeah, you know, it's Freiburg and Get Right who are continuing to show good form. They were actually, you know, in the end, two of the best performers on Inferno. Not that that's saying a lot with how that map went, but yeah.
Happy.
And the dangerous ZZs are out for EnVyUs again.
Happy is still just so lethal, and there's Shoxy. I mean, just the running crouch. Forrest, no time to react. Get right, trying to find the headshot here on a slope. And that's NBK doing the best he can to buy time. He's got that P250. He's up close as well. That bomb has not been caught yet, but the backstab is coming in here from Smith. That smoke is just buying so much time. And there it is, man. Just peeks up, takes out Exist. This is big. Once again, NIP struggling in an anti-eco round. This would be such a huge win for Envy, and they're going to pick it up in the end. Smith and NBK picking up the remaining 2 frags. A full set of guns going into the 15th round of this half. That is stellar. And that's actually going to really mess with NIP as far as their money. I mean, they have enough to get a full buy, I think, to be able to get everybody on board. Apart from Exist, who's going to be a little bit light on nades, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and for NIP, it's not the biggest worry in the world, seeing as it is the last round at the half, so, you know, getting guns is pretty much the priority at that point.
Now it's all about stopping this from being a 10-5. If Envy can, you know, get 6 rounds, it's almost as if Thorin, you know, was able to predict this. 9-6, does it happen? I mean, Envy are looking pretty good coming back into this, but NIP are also looking like they have no pressure on their shoulders right now, and that's the best position, or that's the best situation to find yourself in. I think they realize that Get Right is there, and there's the spray by Shoxy, man, just to root him out of that long house. Smith is there at mid, and he's taking the shots. He is getting caught somewhat here. He has to back off, and he will have the support of Kyoshima as well, so not too shabby there.
Problem for NIP right now, well, you know, even though they're 2 people, Exist is down to 3 HP, so he's not going to be able to do anything at all unless he instantly connects with people, and then Smith takes him out for his second kill of the game, or second kill of the round. And right now, of course, it's in a world of trouble.
And there you have it. Shoxy walks through that smoke, and CT manages to pick up the kill, and there you have it, guys. That is going to be the end of the first half. 9-6. I mean, do you reckon 6 rounds is enough for Envy going into it? I mean, that seems like an inordinate number of T rounds actually picked up by NIP so far on this map, on their map, actually.
I mean, honestly, it really just feels like what we saw in Dust 2, you know, if you go back maybe a tad bit more than a year. Like, that would be a completely normal score for Dust 2. And
you're right,
it's
actually,
just like, you know, as of late, we've been more and more leaning towards, you know, Dust 2 being favored for CTs, or at least, you know, that's how the results play out, at least. So I'm not really worried for Envy. They have every possibility in the world to actually make it back from this, and again, you know, 2 well-versed teams that actually play a ton of games against each other and all that. They're going to know, you know, what each other do, and that's obviously going to have an effect on how, you know, a map is normally played at and how that might vary from it.
I think it's going to be quite some time as well before we start seeing anything really new coming out from these teams, because they have such packed schedules as well. I mean, they're coming out of Katowice. They had that 10-day boot camp, at least, you know, on Envy's side, right? A 10-day boot camp before Katowice, then they're coming here, and then they have a tournament next week, Star Series, and then, you know, so it's going to be a bit rough as far as, you know, developing new strategies, trying to refresh your game a little bit. They aren't going to have much time between, you know, the travel event. So
yeah,
might be a little bit before we actually start seeing anything crazy coming out from these teams to revitalize things.
Exactly, and you can already see the issue that Envy runs into. You know, their pistol.
Yeah, they get figured out. They get just cold cocked, like hard countered right there.
Exactly. Right now, pistol gone. Shock's just moving straight up onto Cat, and actually, you never, you know, put heavy focus on mid-A with 3 people there. So Shock's is actually going to get onto the site unscathed, and this is going to end up being something that you don't see quite often, which is, well, a 5-man retake from the CT team.
I was about to say, a 5-man retake, okay. You know, headshots from Get Right, it's kind of, you know, dime a dozen. You know, that happens all the time, right? But now it's going to be the rush through. Happy doing his lurk. Gets that kill, manages to pick up another one, and there it is! Happy annihilates NIP! 3 kills in the blink of an eye. And now he's looking for that 4th. He wants to get that final frag. Exist, however, does manage to turn this into a 1v2, but Shoxy, he's the insurance. He's still alive on this side, just trying to draw attention, making sure that Exist can't get too comfortable here, trying to figure out where they are, looking like they want to line up that shot. Exist not quite able to find the headshot, and he will walk into Shoxy's crosshairs in the end. But Happy, that is the master play right there that manages to turn everything around.
Yeah, I mean, everything just lined up perfectly for him, really. First guy, obviously, no idea that he's coming there, and then as you know, as he turns the corner while just firing away, just everybody seems to just line up exactly where he wants them to. So yeah, Envy pick up the pistol round, and you know, this is the good stuff that we talked about. They could very easily just even everything out and just look at it, you know, that we're going from scratch from that point on.
Yeah, this is the hard reset. You're right. They're looking like they can, or they're looking like they wanted to pressure Get Right a little bit there. See if they couldn't get rid of him. Freiberg, oh, well, Shoxy's just going to get rid of him through the smoke. There you go. Get Right is gone. But Freiberg was trying to make something happen up on Cat with the Deagle as well, just seeing if he couldn't find that headshot, and he did a lot of damage to NBK. But unfortunately for him, did not get that kill in the end. So now the question is, where exactly do Envy want to take this? Shoxy's listening right now to hear if anybody makes a mistake of taking a step in mid. They could give things away. Or give the information away, rather. That bomb is kind of hesitating on Cat right now. They're going to be able to clear out this A site. And it does look like eventually this will turn into an A plant.
Yeah, and well, they kind of used like Hiroshima to just bait things out and work as a bit of a lure. See if anyone would pop out, you know, a potential stack from NIP or something to that effect. Because Q had only, you know, invested in a Tech 9 at that point. Yeah, just safe and sound play from Envy. They don't want to take any unnecessary risks and lose too many weapons. And as of right now, only Smith's to go down, and all Xyz can really hope for is, you know, to save a scout.
Shoxy nearly kills himself jumping off there into CT. That would have been a bit unfortunate. You know, it's like, I've got him, guys, and then, wait, my ankles. There we go. All right, Envy now, I mean, just this is kind of going according to plan. But now this is where Envy were able to turn things around versus NIP and win a round, if I'm not mistaken. Third round, they had the P250, 3 P250s,
yeah,
and Envy were able to pick up that win. Now can NIP do the same? They did not invest in pistols this round, so it's nothing but the factory standard issue. And it looks like instead Envy are going to be gathering up, grouping up, and working their way towards B, but they should know now that there's 3 guys in mid. And there you go, instant rotation coming out. They did work a man up on long as well. Happy has cleared this part of the map out. Instead now it's going to come down to NBK just trying to buy time for his teammates. He's got a smoke, he could try and use it, but does not want to waste the time taking the finger off the trigger. He's going to get 2, looking for a 3rd, and he's going to get it as well. Lots of money into his pocket. Shoxy's going to find the last one on Alu, but that was a fantastic way, or just survival play basically from NBK. And a lot of money in his pocket too. 8,600 at the end of that. That is big.
Yeah, that's a nice bank to have at this point of the game, and well, we're not going to see the double up setup coming out of NIP right away, but we do see Alu picking up that up, and yeah, this is where it starts to get really, you know, really important for both teams.
What I wonder about is why, you know, if NBK does have 8 grand in the bank, why is he not just handing over an AWP to Smiths or Sox? Seems like Envy are looking to stay a little bit more mobile here.
Yeah, exactly. They want to be on the go, and well, maybe that's a sign that they don't actually want to, you know, take the challenge of a potential double up setup from NIP, and you know, instead of just facing them head on, they just want to use smokes and the ability to get, you know, close to them instead of just going off as up.
Let's see already, great flashes already to force Alu back around that corner. He's going to have to focus on Longhouse now as Envy move their way up onto the side. Get right on A slope, and Alu, both of them landing big shots. But Kiyoshima returns with 2 headshots, takes them out, and this is big now. NBK coming in with a zone, and this is now a man advantage for Envy. Make that a 2-man advantage? No, just a single one, as Alu is able to return and take out Happy. But it's just Xyz, and he just gets caught, goes for a jump trying to get information. He just gets slapped down by NBK at the end. At Envy have certainly turned this around. Their T side is just looking so on point right now. The aggression, they're not holding back.
Yeah, and you know, brilliant individual stuff from Kiyoshima right there. If he doesn't pick up those 2 frags instantly, you know, that's almost certainly an NIP retake without too much of an issue.
Instead, it is Envy just continuing to pressure. This time around, NIP have actually invested in some pistols, though. They have some money. So they've gone ahead, jumped up to some CZs, a Deagle on Freiberg, of course. No surprise there. Now the question is, you know, did he bring Juan Dig with him or not? Should be looking for it. There it is. Damage dealt to Happy with that AWP. Scary moment here for Happy as well. Shoxy's going to get caught by Freiberg eventually over on that A site. So there's a gun that now Envy have to worry about NIP picking up. So we'll see if they decide to manage that, or how they decide to manage that with this double AWP play versus pistols. I mean, Envy, this is not something you see too often. Smith has taken out Freiburg, though, so looks like they're not too worried about that, but there's a push coming in through mid. The flank coming in from Forrest, it looks like, or is that Get Right? Looks like Get Right just doing his thing, but he gets caught out by Smith with that Tech 9, and NBK is just clearing house, takes out the B site completely, and Alu is now the last man alive. Gets a bit of a running headshot there, though, so he's going to be able to pressure Smith, and that's one of the AWPs down, but NBK luckily is in position to hold on to this, and he's going to be able to save that gun as well. So good recovery there by Envy once it started getting a little dicey.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is going to be the tell, yeah, exactly, whether or not we're going to see the double up setup from NIP, and, you know, this is it for them, because this is such a heavy investment for them that if they lose this, they're not going to have the opportunity to really do a proper force buy if they want to. And we're actually going to see double up setups from, you know, double ups from Envy as well. And it might actually end up being this more static game that we kind of foresaw, where, you know, you have up-on-up action.
And I love the fact that Forrest is pre-aiming that spot. He was looking up there waiting for that boost. That's incredible. You know, Envy trying to get one step ahead, but Forrest already, he's 2 steps ahead. He's just waiting for you to take that decision. Doesn't land the shot, but still puts Envy on notice. Says, hey, you know, your tricks, your wiles, I know them. Don't get cute.
Ooh.
I heard that in the crowd too. That was pretty cool. Ooh, but that is harsh right there. Kyoshima just lighting him up. Happy misses a bit of a shot. Snap decision, but he just lays Exist out in Upper Dark. And that bomb just got planted on the A site. Now the question is, do NIP decide to go for the retake, Van?
It's really tough, but they do know that they have kind of isolated one of the players in Happy over towards the B bomb site. So if they're quick enough, they could actually have a really good shot at doing this. But when Kyo does stuff like that, it's pretty tough.
Makes it look so easy as well. First guy right on the edge of the smoke, but the second one, you just see that like hard reset where he's just like, nope, stop spraying, reset, pull the trigger, done.
Yeah, it's just very mechanically done.
Mechanically sound.
Yeah. And another eco coming out from NIP, and this obviously gives Envy the time to, you know, bolster their economy and just feel really safe and just get into a really good state of mind.
That groove.
Yeah.
And they can be sure that NIP right now, I mean, NIP, they have that magical quality to them, but it's certainly going to need to kick in pretty soon here for NIP to turn this tide. Freiburg steps up, gets that headshot on Kyoshima, as we can see. But Alu is going to get shut down by Smith. That's 2 kills now for Smith at the top. A third one there for NBK. Happy, trying to do the best that he can, but he will not be picking that last one up. NBK instead is going to be greedy. So 2 for NBK, 2 for Smith. I believe 1 for Shocks, or was it Kyo, in that round of anti-eco. I mean, such a hard eco from NIP means that they will have enough for the double AWP again. It seems like this is going to be a go-to strat for NIP, that they really do plan on making this work. I just love that Smiths and Happy are able to go toe-to-toe, and they're like, okay, you want 2 ops? We have 2 ops.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, exactly. The fact that it's Smiths and Happy, not necessarily Shocks as well, because Shocks was the one who initially used the op on the CT side for Envy, and well, you know, that's, I guess, the you know, the benefits of actually having well-rounded players.
Exactly. I mean, hell, NBK can use the op if he absolutely needs to. So you have options there.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And
I mean, many opportunities.
Oh, yeah. Opportunities. But yeah, right now, basically, it's a waiting game because, well, a lot of what Nippo are trying to do is going to rely heavily on what Alu and Forrest can do for them.
Well, I mean, now the question is whether they're going to be able to sop things up here and close it out. Smith does find Forrest, though. So he opts to take that peek. Freiburg, however, hiding in the pit, looking for that headshot, and he is going to buy enough time for Get Right to close in on that angle. Now Freiburg is holding as best he can. He gets 2 kills. That's big. Brings it back to a 2-on-2 and drops that bomb over there. It's a Happy now. Lurk roll, of course, just waiting to see if he can catch somebody on the rotation. But NIP are going the long way. They want to go around long. They're going to see if they can't get the backstab in on Shoxy. They know he's hurt.
And Alu should be... Ooh,
that flash timing, perfect flash. And there's the shot from Happy as well. Lights out for NIP.
Yeah, that was just very well done by EnVyUs. Obviously, you know, might have been a tad bit lucky with the timing, Shocks with that flash, but obviously worked like a charm, and what would have been a really easy kill for Alu ends up in, you know, a complete disaster for NIP.
Oh. Yeah, exactly right. Man, I mean, it's really difficult to see what NIP can do now to get back into this. They go for the force buy, of course, right? But it's they're so broke that, yeah, it's exist on a Pro 90, Freiburg, no Kevlar, you know, all of just going glass cannon. This is the extent, the limit that NIP have been pushed to. And Envy, well, will succumb to Alu. Shoxy gets picked off, so there we go. Alu deciding to step in. Get one frag in. That's the entry frag there. Molotov is potentially going to be able to clear Exist out. I think he's holding close, though. Yeah, he is holding close.
Yeah.
That Molotov isn't going to reach him quite.
And as right now, you know, it looks like a potential B split with the two guys. Well, you know, unless the guy with the bomb actually joins them in Upper Dark here.
This is a very scary situation here. Happy, is he actually going to be able to check this? Yes, he does. Point blank. And then NVK is there to watch his back as well. Exist gets nothing done. Get right there with the M4A1, gets flashed and then smoked. Not a thing he could do. And that bomb plant is going to happen here. 4v3 scenario here in NIP. They need to work some magic to come out of this ahead. Happy is just hunting.
Well, Envy are definitely feeling it right now. They, you know, can definitely tell that they are in control. And well, Happy did the same thing on Inferno, really. But like when he feels in control, he just goes aggressive and, you know, wants to you know, take it to NIP. And this time it's working around.
Yeah, he just goes wild. And yeah, I mean, now it's just Freiburg. He found, I think it must be Alu's off, you know, so he's just holding on to that at this point.
And that's all he can hope for, really. So crossing fingers that he won't take the peak towards long. And it seems like he's gonna be able to hold on to that, but obviously a match for Envy, and they've got 6 of them.
Yeah, they have so much room to work with here.
Yeah, and no money for NIP, still obviously having you know, forced up and still lost the round. So this is a tough situation for the Swedes to be in, and Envy are just really.
Nice gap shot, and did he get the tag as well? That looked so close. Happy not going to be able to land that shot, but the Molotov there just looking to press forward and put the pressure on. Kyoshima did make it past to blue, and he's going to be able to catch Freiburg with a nade in his hand. Calamitous turn of events here for NIP. They lost 2 men so early in the round, and the pressure just continues to mount. Envy moving up long, looking to get control of this bomb site. Get right, pinned down behind the box, and that smoke goes down in the nick of time. But that Molotov is going to force him out into the open, and that's just, I mean, NBK, perfect timing, walks up Cat and picks him out clean.
I mean, Envy have been so good at actually doing this so far. Like, it hasn't always necessarily been Happy to be the lurker or backstabber, but you know, the way Envy has actually forced NIP players to get into awkward positions where they will always be open for, you know, one of the 2 sides Envy are pushing. They're just doing that fantastically so far.
That was a nice shot there. Happy did manage to take out Alu, however. And Forrest is now the last man alive. 1v3. Walking up, Cat does not get tagged there. Happy trying to go to work with the P250. Instead, it's going to be Kyoshima with the AK. A 16-9 win for Envy. And that's just dominant from them. 2-0 in clear fashion.
Yeah, and a very different story from what we saw in Poland. Completely different.
Absolutely. Yeah, just total turn of events. So hard to predict as well with these players.